it's funny. I was actually listening to on our podcast because someone said to me in the office today. I was like, "What are you doing this afternoon?" I was like, "I'm just going to go do my podcast tonight." He goes, "You got a podcast?"
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. He's like, "Oh, what's it about?" I was like, "It's about Formula One." He's like, "Oh, I've got something to listen to now when I'm on my way to work and all that."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I was like, "I want to know what these people are doing. Like if someone puts it on in the car, what it feels like." So I did it on the way home. I thought I might most really honestly, I forgot that it was us.
Really?
And I was wet myself laughing at our own podcast.
Oh no!
It's in the car, just like, that's so funny. That's a bit sad, isn't it?
That is very sad. That is so sad.
It's a bit sad. But yeah, maybe I just find that funny. I think.
But you know what? When I'm editing the videos and I listen back to it, I laugh all the time. I'm like, I laugh. I'm like, that's really funny.
We're probably the only people that laugh at our own jokes.
Yeah, I know. Like, I laugh at that, and I laugh at the reels we do as well.
The reels,
like,
right.
I watch
videos you do are so good.
I find them so funny.
Yeah,
I'm like,
sometimes I watch them. I'm like, I have to watch that again.
Yeah,
I have to watch that again.
Like the Carlos Sainz one I did.
Yeah.
And then I managed to find the old video of your Logan Sargent prediction.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Spliced it in. And
it's an awful video, that. But that's why it's funny. I was like, post it.
So, because if you haven't seen it, basically, it was to do with how, do you remember last episode, Adam was saying about Carlos Sainz, he doesn't think he's going to get 3 podiums this year. And then I was like, that's a better prediction than your last year one, which was him talking about Logan Sargent going to be good in the Williams.
Yeah.
In the episode, we pretend that we're not going to find the video, and then I found it. I spliced it into the reel, and then I messaged Adam being like, "You're going to love this latest reel," and he was like, "I hate it."
I was like, "I hate it, but it is funny."
But yeah, welcome back.
It's Lights Out.
Away we go.
I did something to start.
Oh yeah.
I don't really know why this just suddenly came up as I walked in your house. Really.
Yeah.
So, when you bought your car,
your
Lexus, how did you feel the overall buying experience was with that vehicle?
So it was good.
You get what I mean? The sales process from going and speaking to them and them taking.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yes,
they look after you.
Okay. Yeah. How
it felt very like plush. It's Lexus, so it felt very looked after. There was stuff I thought they could do better, but that's just me being a salesman, being like, you could have hooked me in a bit better there.
Like what?
Like,
be specific.
Right. I think they could have tailored the conversation a little bit more to me. They could have maybe, like, I spoke about the speaker not being upgraded. He could have taken me and we could have updated the sound settings together to a setting that we thought was quite good. Might get me more involved in it. I was very absorbed in my phone because I was having a conversation with someone at the time and just maybe trying to get that conversation hooked back in. But I think I was quite a sure buyer coming into it. Mm-hmm. So he didn't have to sell too much to me.
Right. Okay.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you felt like he was nice and polite. And,
yeah.
And you felt like he knew what he was talking about and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Something I would have liked actually is like, no one sat in the car with me and took me through what anything did.
Okay.
And I knew what the buttons were because of my parents' car, which are Lexus as well. But there was some stuff in there which I have no idea how to do this. And I wiped it out. But when my parents bought their car, I noticed that my parents' buying experience, because it was a nicer car, was so much better than my buying experience.
Okay.
That's what I noticed.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason I bring this up is because I went on like a training day this week.
Yeah.
Really, really good fun. Really enjoyed it. And obviously they were talking about, the sales processes and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And one of the things that came up, we basically were talking about, we all went around the room and spoke about a good thing, like a really good experience you've ever had with any sales process, whether it's Amazon or, delivery or, I don't know, something in Aldi or you're in, I don't know, whatever, Currys, a good one, and then like a really bad one. The woman doing the training said that both of hers happened in the same day, right? So she started talking. She goes, in the morning, I decided to go and buy a new car. Mm-hmm. She said she thought, right, what am I going to go and get? What's the first brand that comes into your head when you're thinking nice, modern, like quite exciting car? I'm wearing the badge.
Yeah, Mercedes.
You think Mercedes, right? So
I thought you were leading me down that path. I didn't want to say the wrong thing there.
No, you do, don't you? When someone, it's like, oh yeah, you've got a Mercedes, very nice.
Yeah.
So she took down to Mercedes, and she said that her experience was absolutely horrendous.
Mhm.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
Apparently she went in, she had to sit there for 45 minutes to wait for anyone to talk to her. 45 minutes.
That's very long.
Then someone came over and said something like, you know, what you're sort of looking for. Didn't really introduce himself very well and was just a bit like, so what are you looking for? And she said, okay, anyway, this is what I'm looking for. And he kind of sat her down. He didn't like ask her about like what her budget was, what her sort of her lifestyle is like, like why she's in there, like just normal conversation, salesy stuff. To get an idea of your customer.
He didn't understand the customer.
He didn't even try to understand. She was like, can we have a look at cars? So he was like, yeah, sure. Apparently took her to some car, didn't take the keys with him so she could have a look on the inside and all that stuff. Was like, do you want to just peer through? And like, I've bought Mercedes, so I've been through this process. And to be honest with you, I don't remember it being like ridiculously amazing either, but I wasn't as bad as this. Anyway, so that was her bad experience, was at Mercedes, which I hate. And I was expecting everyone else in the room to go, oh, okay, maybe that's just a one-off thing. Yeah. The whole room went, I've had the same sort of stuff from Mercedes.
Yeah.
Then she went to Audi later that day and had the best experience she's ever had. She said they got her coffee within an hour, within like a minute.
Yeah.
Biscuits.
Yeah.
What would you like? Here's the car. Have a sit in it. Do you like this color? Oh, you don't like this color? I've got one that's exactly a different, the color that you like in the back. So you can have a look at the color and then we can put it on the car. Configured everything. And I was just like, Mercedes, please. Please, you're Mercedes. You have to have good customer service. Yeah. It's so basic.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just needed to bring that up because it really annoyed me. And as a Mercedes person, and I love Mercedes. Yeah. God, that was heartbreaking.
Do you know what? Like, Audi does give a really good experience. Audi gave a great experience similar to Lexus, where, you got food, you got coffee, you looked after, they check in with you. Yeah. You had to wait a little bit for a salesman, but they were like keeping you updated throughout. It's like, just talking through this person and we'll come, like. Yeah. And I looked at a SLK, or their new one, the SLC.
Yeah.
And I remember on the phone, thinking the salesman doesn't want me to buy this car. He didn't even seem on the phone like he was trying.
Yeah.
So.
And obviously at Mercedes, you have to book an appointment.
Yeah. So, but it could be that. It could be that it's literally, because you haven't booked an appointment, it's not a walk in the door thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then again, surely that's some of your, got to be like, a lot of your business is just people walking in.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
Weird. I just had to bring that up because I thought that was very interesting that a brand of that level and supposedly that kind of caliber has multiple situations of not having great customer service.
Oh, yeah. That's surprising.
So big up Audi in 2026.
Well, not Audi.
Formula One.
They might not be fast, but they'll treat their customers well.
They'll treat them well and they'll treat the drivers well.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Okay. Some huge F1 news.
Looking forward to this.
And I was like, I messaged Adam and I was like, before this, and I was going, have you, we have to film today, have you seen the news? And he was like, no, I've not seen it. And you thought it was about the Alpine bosses leaving.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's kind of big, but this is bigger.
Okay.
Right?
So he told me to keep off.
Yeah.
So that I didn't know what he's about to say. Yeah. So I've not seen anything. I've kept off Instagram. Okay, or whatever. Go on, carry on.
So in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix last year, Fernando Alonso got a penalty during the race that was overturned before the end of the race, or maybe after the race, and meant he kept his podium for the race. Turns out that the person who owns the FIA, Formula One, Ben Suliak, he was involved in overturning that penalty. He made them overturn the penalty. It wasn't like the governing body. It wasn't like the race stewards who overturned the penalty. He overturned the penalty.
Right.
So he got involved and he's overturned the penalty. This is what the allegations are.
Oh.
Which is basically like...
That's just fixing, innit?
Yes.
That's just that's not sport.
Yeah, because it probably would have been like, oh, Alonso's really liked. If he gets a penalty, then he's off the podium. People are going to get annoyed.
Ooh.
That's big.
That's bad. Because, wow. That is bad.
Very bad. It's the second race fix scandal Alonso's been a part of.
Oh,
2009.
what was the 2009 one?
2009 Singapore, the Flavio Briatore ordered the second driver for Renault to crash the car so that Alonso who was on like a really weird strategy but pole position. Basically, he said Alonso's strategy was to pit loads of times, and it would only work if there was a really early safety car because he started the race at low fuel bit in P1. So Flavio Briatore, the team manager, of Renault, ordered his second driver to crash the car early on in the race so that they could have a safety car, and then Alonso could pit and then win the race.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah.
This is the second time. So how do we know that this hasn't happened in other areas as well?
2021.
I knew you were about to say that. I knew you.
2021.
Maybe. That's worrying because that would make the sport a lot less interesting.
It's very worrying because there's been some weird calls, especially in the 2021 season. There's weird penalty calls sometimes.
So how's this come out?
It's BBC Sport. Just someone's leaked
anonymous.
Well, they've gone to the press, I think, and it's now under investigation. And it was on BBC Sport earlier today.
But then if
you never know, right?
That will spoil everything. That's really depressing.
Mm.
And let's hope that's a one-off thing.
You really hope it's a one-off thing because that's a really bad thing.
Yeah, I don't even know. Really, I'm a little bit kind of lost for words. Like I don't really know what to say.
Crazy, right?
It's not even like
you just wonder, right? You fully wonder what else have they got involved in? If they've got involved in anything, is this a one-off case? Is this going to be like, oh my god, there's like hundreds of races being fixed?
Yeah,
it's a bit like in football when Juventus got done for match fixing, right?
I guess so, but the thing is with other sports is, I feel like let's say I don't know how to explain. Let's say you fixed a football match and you had you paid the referee, for example, to favour one team more than another. If one team still plays better than the other, you're going to win. If that makes sense. So like, even it's not guaranteed. If you were to like pay the ref, it's not guaranteed that team is going to win.
Yeah.
But this is literally
getting rid of a penalty so he stays on the podium.
Yeah, this is like, it's completely like left field. I don't know how to explain it.
No, it's basically, it's like there's a guaranteed result.
Yeah,
from his action.
A completely forced result. Yeah, that's it. There you go. You've nailed it. Yeah. It's a guaranteed forced result from this decision.
Yeah,
a referee being paid a little bit, if that does happen, is still not guaranteeing the whole over.
You can't stop a goal going in if a goal still goes in.
Yeah,
yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah,
you said it was BBC that came up with that.
BBC have posted it, so BBC are quite good.
Well, it's a good source. It's BBC.
BBC is a good source. Yeah.
I would like to know if it's come out on Sky or anything like that. So, because when you did tell me, I did, before you told me not to look, I did try and look when you said, have you seen the news?
Yeah.
And I didn't see anything on like the Formula One Instagram or anything like that.
It wasn't on F1's Instagram. Yeah, Mohammed Ben Sulayem, FIA president, under investigation for alleged attempt to interfere over an F1 race So Alonso been giving a 10-second penalty for getting work done on his car while serving a previous 5-second penalty, and then the penalty was declined, but basically the penalty got overturned,
right,
and he got to keep the podium. It's right. F1 is in quite a crisis at the moment. I think F1's in quite a crisis at the moment. Like, we've got Ben Suleimani, the FIA president, potentially match fixing. You've got a match fixing, race fixing. You've got an F1 team boss with like sexual allegations going out.
That was nuts.
The sport is more stuff's happening outside of the sport, which is really damaging for F1. Jos Verstappen is, asking for Red Bull Christian Horner to leave. You've got a Grand Prix and a sport that is stale. Like F1 is stale at this point. Like from last year, pretty much the pecking order of the grid is completely the same. You still got Max winning by 25 seconds or whatever. There was no rule changes in place to fix that, right? And we've had years of Mercedes dominance, but at least there was always a rule change when there was a season of dominance to try and get it closer together.
And there was at least a little bit of variation in the winning in those races.
There was a little bit of it. There was a 19 out of the 21 races or whatever, 24 races won by one driver.
Yeah.
You've got a team that came off a budget cap breach as well, Red Bull, in 2021, which they spent way too much money. You had a massive controversy on the final race of the season in 2021 as well. Viewership is down. Viewership is down massively this year. And I just think F1's in an absolute crisis and they need to do something about it. There's too much worse stuff happening around the sport. And the racing is now also boring.
Oh my God. That was so depressing.
That's been inside me, and it's nothing there's nothing wrong with Red Bull, right? We can't complain for them for dominating the sport. That's
fair play.
Completely fair. Mercedes dominated it for 8 years.
It's not completely Red Bull.
But
that's not, yeah.
F1 can't have its president fixing races. Its leads team principal having allegations against it, and then also have stale racing. It needs to have at least good racing or no drama around it. It's just so damaging for the sport right now.
Or they could have no drama and good racing.
Yeah.
That would be ideal.
That would be...
Have you seen the messages, the Christian Horner messages?
There's a lot out there. It's I don't know what's true, what's not.
Yeah.
To be honest.
It could be all photoshops and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've seen the messages. And I mean, do you know, I'm not even going to give my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it.
I don't think it's worth it. I think that it's a bit of a...
No, it's not worth it.
Because he technically was found out is not,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the greater implication is Jos Verstappen saying that if Christian Horner stays at Red Bull, then he wants to pull Max out of that team. But
that would be is that in his contract?
Jos is Max's manager.
Yeah, I guess so.
And because Christian Horner's been, he's been exonerated. The case got dismissed. Because of that, it's not that Red Bull can't fire him. That's a legal nightmare. If Red Bull fire Christian Horner, he's suing them for millions of wrongful termination.
Yeah.
So Christian Horner's not going to step down, because he got offered to step down before the stuff came out and he never did. He is not going to be fired, and Jos Verstappen's now saying that he wants Max out the team.
Is there a correlation of Drive to Survive and all this happening? Is there a correlation of all these new fans, the hype of the sport literally doubling within a few years due to a TV series that is now fueling a flame of all of these did this stuff happen before?
Yeah.
We just didn't know about it. And now that it's become more media, more mainstream, that's when everything's coming to fruition. Does that make sense?
No.
Could there
it does make sense. It does make sense. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But this stuff has been in F1 for years.
What, the fixing?
Yeah. So you had
sexual
2009, you had the fixing, you had McLaren stealing Ferrari documents and they got fined £100 million. You had there's lots of those are the two that come to mind, but there's been lots of big controversies back in the day, which still come. There was a whole controversy about Bridgestone tires, where at one Grand Prix only 5 cars started a race, and then there was was it Dunlop? No, who was the other provider?
Pirelli?
No, it was Bridgestone and something. But there was a thing, did they purposely take bad tires to this race that they could pull out and make a big scene and get better branding and stuff? And you had 1996 where Michael Schumacher's car was found to have a setting for traction control that technically wasn't ever live apparently, but traction control was banned in the car.
Yeah. Okay. So this has happened. These controversial things are happening.
They happen all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
But It's just I think that more people know about it now.
More people know about it. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't. And then, I mean, Bernie Eccleston has thousands of claims against sexual harassment against him. He was the older owner of F1. He was awful.
Yeah, that's a good point. Was any of that?
I think a lot of money went under the table. I think he got away with it. He's a seedy guy.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a little bit of a rant from me. I think the race was so terrible and everything else.
Oh, do you even want to talk about it? Because I don't really.
It was so boring.
Yeah,
it was
terrible.
So boring.
But then Bahrain in itself is not a particularly fun track. Generally,
there's been good races there. There's been good battles. It's just that, like,
but it's not an amazing track.
No.
So when you have a race like this where there's like no passing, no fighting.
Yeah, it's not like the best track to watch. But it's nice under the lights. But apart from that,
yeah,
I'd give it like a mid track. Like, I'd probably give it like a B.
It's okay.
It's like a track, yeah. We should probably rank
terrible,
it,
but it's
it
was bad this week.
It was very bad. I genuinely I was like, I want to turn the TV off, but I can't because something might happen. But
yeah.
Oh.
What a depressing episode this is.
It's a very depressing episode.
We're sorry.
What do you think of Yuki Tsunoda? Yuki Tsunoda. What do you think of him?
Why?
You see the end of the Grand Prix where he was shouting down the mic at Daniel Ricciardo? Do you know that bit?
I must have missed something.
Yeah, he's so right.
Have I missed something?
Yeah. So Daniel Ricciardo was going like
I was watching this race.
Yeah.
I definitely missed something.
They swapped the drivers around, Ricciardo and Tsunoda.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And he was like, why has he gone past me? He's not even that fast. And he was ahead of him. He was like, no, he's still going slowly. He needs to speed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then,
sorry. Yes, of course.
Did you see after the race as well, where he like dive bombed, like it was the cool down lap, he dive bombed him, but he dive bombed him.
Yeah.
And then like sort of like swiped across him.
No, I didn't. I turned it off by that point because I was so fuming with the race. I was like, no.
I turned it off straight away, but I saw it on like after people talking about it.
Oh, okay. So there was something a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think? I think he's a child.
Yeah. Where did he end up? P13?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you're fighting for points anyway.
All that drama for no points.
Yeah, for nothing.
Do you think
ego?
Yeah, I think Yuki needs to grow up. I think they're like, why is he shouting down the radio? Like,
he's always had an issue with his manners, though, hasn't he? He's always had an issue with his.
He's not fast enough to have issues with his manners.
No, he isn't.
And no one should act mean to the team or anything,
no.
Right? But if you're gonna do it, at least be fast.
At least be fast, or at least be right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And he shouts at the team. It's so rude. It's rude.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, obviously he's had issues with that for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Where the teams have actually brought it up and been like, come on, mate.
Yeah. Well, I think if he continues like this, like I can see him. Like, what team is going to want to sign Yuki Tsunoda?
No one.
Right.
There's not a single team that would take him right now.
Comes with bad PR. He's
not ahead of Liam Lawson for a seat, really.
No.
If
he's not like crazy fast, is he?
No.
Like, you put him against Max and the Red Bull, he's not doing as well as Perez is doing.
No.
I think Perez is quicker.
Yeah.
He didn't. It wasn't like he did amazing in junior formulas either. So
know your place.
Yeah, he just brings a bit of Red Bull, like Honda money. Probably all that he brings.
Yeah.
So I think grow up.
I agree absolutely, and also Daniel Ricciardo as well, who's a well-renowned, highly decorated driver.
Yeah, and an
with
all-around
so much experience. You should be learning off him, not getting annoyed at him.
Yeah, and Daniel Ricciardo is also the nicest guy.
The nicest guy.
Yeah,
like he wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yeah, literally. Like how could you hurt his like smiley face?
Oh,
he's so happy.
He is so happy.
So it's rude. He needs to Yuki Tsunoda needs to calm it down over the radio.
Sort yourself out.
Seriously, needs to calm it down.
I agree.
What else happens? I mean,
nothing.
What else can we talk about? I mean, you know what? Flawless drive by Max. Well done.
Yeah.
It was just completely flawless. Like
he is so fast.
Yeah. I mean, I watched that car, like when I was watching the onboards. Oh my, it's just like the car rotates so much better going into a corner than any other car does.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how much turn he can get with that car. Like, It's just ridiculous. Like that car is unbelievable.
Ridiculously fast.
Yeah.
It's just the whole. I think it's just the relationship between how good he is and the car that he loves.
Yeah.
And it just comes together, and you're just like, wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
You're just like that. You can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't. Even if like there was in the next race, like everyone got very slightly closer or something, he's still gonna be beating everyone. I don't even know how to explain it. Like
the
he's
cars, not equal, but like the cars could still about 0.4 seconds a lap slower at the moment is what testing was thinking. I think they might even be more slower now looking at the actual race pace. But they could be 0.1 seconds a lap slower, and Max is going to win by 20 seconds.
Yeah,
because they just they're just so good together. But
even Perez had a good race.
Well, this is the thing. Perez like came from 5th to 2nd.
Yeah.
No one cared because the car is so fast. They're like, he should be 2nd.
Yeah, and no one challenged even him. Yeah. And he was nowhere near as fast as Max. But even then, no one challenged him.
No.
He was rapid.
No. Yeah.
Lucky boys.
Lucky boys. But
rapid Red Bulls.
That's an unbelievable Red Bull.
That's what you can name this episode, the Rapid Red Bulls.
Rapid Red Bulls, yeah. The thing is as well, right? Like, I think that you look at the concept and it almost as if they've begun at the beginning of that concept. You know what I mean? With like the radical changes they've made, you almost feel like there's so much more pace they're going to find in that car.
Yeah.
Which is...
But is there a point where you think, well, the car is already too fast, we don't really need to do much to it, and we'll probably focus on next year's anyway?
Well, they will be, but next year, I feel like they're gonna I genuinely think they might stop development after Japan. Like the fourth, like first 5 races of the season, like they'll bring the first upgrade package, and I think they'll stop development.
Yeah,
and they'll look at next year's car,
and they'll still win this year.
Yeah, and then next year they'll be even faster because they've spent so long on it.
It is sad.
Yeah.
It's really depressing.
Is this another problem with the budget cap, right? Where when Mercedes didn't get it right, you just throw money at it until it works. Whereas now you can't.
No.
So you're almost like, and Red Bull can keep throwing money at it, but the marginal gain Red Bull's going to make is not that much compared to if Mercedes throw loads of money at it, then the marginal gain they're going to make is huge.
Yeah.
But now because you've got like a budget cap, Mercedes can't just take a brand new concept to like, they can't just, they can't develop a brand new concept of car.
Mm-hmm.
So they're sort of just stuck in this like limbo of, we're still penny pinching, but we need to try and catch up. But whereas because Red Bull are doing so well, they only allocate 300 million to the car. Mercedes used to spend like 450, 500 mil on a car. So is the budget cap stopping people from catching back up? And
it's a very good point.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good point. Yeah. And I think again, we've spoken about this before, but if you were to change the budget caps and do that situation where the bottom get the most and the top get the least, and everything in between just kind of works its way down.
Yeah, a staggered budget cap.
Staggered budget cap surely would make more sense.
Yeah. So it's like Red Bull get 130 mil, Mercedes get 140, Ferrari get 150 mil.
But then we say that, realistically, it is only Red Bull that is that far ahead. The rest of the grid is not too bad.
Yeah.
And it's fairly understandable.
Yeah.
So is it that whoever's in first has to have more of a cap than everyone else? But then that would be stupid, unfair, wouldn't it? That would be pointless.
Yeah, it's such a hard one because there's not even like one thing Red Bull do that, like, right, in 2020, right, the Mercedes was amazing because it had a low rate car.
Yeah,
and it used the floor so well. So then they cut out a chunk of the floor for 2021, and you had a really close season.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that the Red Bull does that's like completely unique to anyone else, but it just does it all so well all together.
Yeah.
That it's like,
genius.
What would you even
Adrian Newey
stop on that car?
Adrian Newey. Absolute genius.
Yeah. Can we like remove him for a season. Ban him for a season.
Yeah, ban him for 1 season. Adrian, please leave for 1 season. Let everyone catch up
And then come back.
and then come back.
Yeah.
He is a genius. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't even knock him.
There needs to be something needs to happen. This is a sad episode. This is a
It's-
ranty episode.
We're so sorry.
Do you know what? It put me in such a bad mood for the rest of the weekend because I watched that race on Saturday and I was like, I don't want to go out anymore. Like I was supposed to go to a house party. I was a bit like, I don't really want to go.
And also that news that you just given about fixing is also really spoilt it.
Yeah,
That's really, really depressing
very sad.
because nobody's got time for that. Nobody's got time for that in sport.
No cheating. I don't like cheating.
There's no point. It's
No.
because then this happens where people get depressed and they're
Yeah.
like, what the hell's the point in watching something if it's just going to get fixed? And do you know what I mean? There's no point.
Yeah.
So don't let that happen again.
Better not.
Better not.
Better not.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Let's call it a day.
call it a day.
We'll be more bubbly next time.
Yes.
And this week's race
Saudi.
is going to be amazing
Yes.
because Red Bull will win, but it'll be closer.
Hopefully.
It will be a photo finish at the end of a Ferrari and a Red Bull. But Red Bull will still take it because they're still faster, but it's going to be
Close.
close.
Should we do a prediction? It's
Okay.
Saudi. Who do you think? What am I even asking? Who do you think is going to win?
I'm not answering that question. Who do you think is going to come second?
You know what? Okay, I'm going to say Perez win. He likes street tracks. He does like street tracks.
I don't think Perez. Okay, you can say Perez is going.
I'm saying Perez win.
I don't, but okay.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go Perez win.
Yep.
I'm gonna Max second.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Leclerc third.
Leclerc was on a terrible race.
Yeah, because he had his brakes.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, of course.
His
Yeah.
brakes. Yeah.
He was really struggling with brakes, but
And he still wasn't too far off science for someone with issues.
yeah,
So,
true.
high speed track. Aston Martin quite good there. Their race pace looked quite bad though in Bahrain.
He did.
Let's go to the top. Well, okay, my podium, my top 5 is going to be Perez, Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Norris.
Okay, mine's going to be Verstappen, Perez, Sainz.
You said he's only going to get 3 or less podiums.
Let me-
He's going to
let me
get
take
2
that
in
back.
the first 2
Let me
races.
take that back. Let me take that back. Okay, fine, Leclerc.
No, you can go Sainz if you want.
No, because I didn't actually think it would be Sainz. It will be Leclerc. It will be Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, Lando, Piastri.
Wow, Mercedes hype train's really gone.
Yeah. Terrible. So slow.
Right. Well, thank you very much for watching. It's been a very sad episode.
It has, but these are going to happen.
Yes,
These sad episodes.
they are going to happen. Just let's hope it's not 24 times this season.
Oh, pray to God it isn't.
Get that Dutch national anthem out of my head.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Just doing circles in your head, innit?
All right. Thanks for watching.
And it's been lights out.
Take care. Peace.
Peace.